Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ustad Faraz here, and today's lesson we're going to cover pronouns. And in the Arabic language, pronouns are one pronouns called damir, and the plural of damir are ضمائر and damir. So pronouns. What do we know about pronouns? The very first thing we should know about pronouns, they are isms. And it's important to know that they're isms because pronouns, while they may have signs, they're not limited to having signs. And so sometimes you might have a pronoun and you don't know what it is, and so the only way to know it's an ism is if you know all their pronouns. So that's what today's lesson is going to be about. How do we identify pronouns in their different forms, different shapes, and different situations, to our capability as of right now. And as we go along, we'll learn more. The most important thing we should know about pronouns are they're split into two separate groups. The pronouns that are connected and separate or detached. And in Arabic, connected for this topic is muttasil, and separate is munfasil. Right? Connected is muttasil, separate is munfasil. And so let me give you some quick examples, and then we'll head over to the actual chart. So connected could be, for example, like faqruhu or baytuhu. Let's look at baytuhu. So baytuhu means his house. So this means his house. And we see that bayt means house and hu means his. So this is actually an idafa construction like we know. And what we do is we separate and we say this is an idafa, who's mudaf ilayh, but more importantly it's a pronoun that is connected to the word bayt, and that's why it is a muttasil. But that who, when it's separate, for example, it will look like this. Huwa jamil. Huwa jamilun. And so this huwa means him, his as well. This means he is beautiful. So this means he and this means his. Now, can we always say it's his or he? Not necessarily. It just means a masculine person or a masculine thing. And that's what we're after. Right? So connected and separate. And we'll go over all the examples one by one. But here I just want to make I want to make a point here. Faqruhu. Okay, faqru. Faqr means poverty, needs, like his need, his poverty. Now someone's going to say, well, that's weird because this who is not actually connected to the raw, but it has the same shape of a connected to and not this. If it was connected, if it was detached or separate, it should be huwa. But if it was connected, it should be actually connected with the raw. So what's the answer? It's a good question. Let's say, for example, the raw connected with the ha. Faqruhu. And in Arabic, actually, you don't usually see the vowels. So let's assume there's no vowels. If you didn't see the vowels, someone could actually interpret it as fiqhun, which means jurisprudence. So the raw attached to the ha, it actually looks like a line. It doesn't really look like a separate letter. And for that reason, they don't connect the raw. So what we say is that this is still going to be considered as a muttasil damir, even though there's a gap. And so what's the distinguishing factor of knowing if a pronoun is attached or detached? It's its image, what it looks like, more so than if it's actually attached or detached. So that's the general thing. So this is an introduction, and like I said, the most important thing is that you write these notes down because writing helps. This is one of the reasons why I don't give the sheets So because I do strongly believe that writing these notes down will instill the information in your head. So this is just an introduction to pronouns, right? Pronouns, it's called damir. The jama or the plural is dama'ir. They're all isms. We split them into two categories: connected muttasil and separate munfasil. Okay, so now let's go to the chart. Now we have this chart here. And what I want to explain is that we have dama'ir and we have the pronoun in situation where it's default, meaning you start out like this, when it's treated as an object of a verb, and when it's mudaf ilayh, which we had covered briefly, but we'll go over it again. And so let's first go default. And so in the default, we see that there's a munfasila, and that there is also a muttasila, meaning this is a separated form, what it looks like, and the connected form, what it looks like. Now, let's first go over what all the pronouns in the Arabic language are. So how we do this is we say that this first category right here, this is going to be, sorry about that, this is going to be first person. And this here is second person. And in the bottom here, this is going to be third person. So let's go back up, if it allows me. Yeah. So what are the pronouns and what do they translate as? Ana means I. Nahnu means we. Anta means you, but it's for the masculine. Anti is also you, but for the feminine. Antuma and antuma, both of these are you. You dual. So you can write you dual. And this first one is for masculine. Put M here. And the second one is also you dual, but for feminine. So these are both dual, but masculine, feminine, but you really can't tell a difference. They both are antuma. So the good thing is if you want to use antuma, meaning you dual, you two people, or you those two things, you can use either one. No one can tell the difference. Antum is you all, so a group of people. Why are you doing that? And antunna is you. So this first one, antuma, you all, it's masculine. And the second one, antunna, is you all, feminine. Okay, and then we have third person. Huwa is he. Hiya is she. Huma is those two things. So it's those two, but masculine. Huma, the other one is those two, feminine. Hum is they, and hunna, so they masculine, and hunna is they, feminine. Okay, so let's just review. We have in the default, meaning this is how pronouns begin, we have the munfasila, meaning that they're separated. If they're separated and we're beginning a sentence, we'll use these forms. Ana means I. Nahnu means we. Anta means you, but masculine. Anti means you, feminine. Antuma means you dual, masculine. Antuma, again, you dual, feminine, but we can't tell the difference. Antum, you all, masculine. Antunna, you all, feminine. Then we have huwa, it's he. Hiya, she. Huma, those two. Huma, those two, feminine, and the first one is masculine. Same thing with antuma, you can't really tell the difference. You will be able to in the verbs, but not right now. Hum is they, masculine, and hunna is they, feminine. Now, That is if it is connected to a that is if it is connected that is if it is separate. And as you notice here, this is the only munfasila here in this whole chart. So that's an easy one, right? Now we have to start distinguishing, and as you notice, like these are all going to be corresponding via the horizontal line. So all the anals will be here and all the nahwis will be here and so on and so forth. Now we have to start differentiating the muttasila depending on cases, case situations. Now, what will we say is that these two right here, these two deal with fi'ls. And this here deals with isms, right? These two deal with fi'ls and this one deals with isms. So that's the first thing we want to mention. Now, if these two deal with fi'ls, what's the difference? The difference is that this column is dealing with when this verb or this pronoun is acting like the doer of a verb. So this is acting like the doer. And while this is acting, like I said up here, the object, the thing that's receiving the action. So, like I said before, these two are fi'ls, these two columns of muttasila pronouns come with fi'ls. If it's in this column, it's acting like the doer. If it's in this column, it's acting like the object. And actually, yeah, so let's go through each one. So, for example, to. Right? To means that I did something. So I'll write all these examples to the left of it so it's clear for you guys. So for example, I say ذهبت. ذهبت. So ذهب means to go. So then what does ذهبت mean? It means I went. Or then I say na. So I say ذهبنا. So what is this na telling me? This na is a damir muttasil. It is an attached pronoun that's acting like the doer of ذهب. So we went. We are the ones who are doing the going. So we went. Okay? Then we also have a ta. So we say ta here. Same thing. We say ذهبت. And so since it corresponds with anta, which means you masculine, we say that you went. And then we have ذهبتي. And then we have, this means you, girl, like you, as in I'm speaking to a girl, you went. Then we have ذهبتما and ذهبتما. So these both, like I said, you can't tell the difference. They're both tuma. They're both tuma. And for now, we'll ignore the second part. Don't worry about that. We'll cover that some other day. It's not that important right now. ذهبتما and ذهبتما. So these are both damir muttasils connected to the verb. And they mean that you two went and you can't tell. You know by context if it's referring to girls or guys. Then we have antum. So we have, if you want to say you all, you put a tum at the end. ذهبتم. So the tum is a damir muttasil referring to you all and it's a doer. And then if you want you all female, we'll do ذهبتن, right? So ذهبتن, this tunna here is a damir muttasil connected, meaning you all female went. Now, as you notice here, the huwa and hiya don't have anything. And we'll cover that when we cover the verbs and the doers of verbs, the fa'al, so we call them fa'als, but they don't have anything. So that's easy for us. You can skip that. You won't ever see an attached huwa, hiya pronoun acting like a doer. You'll see it like an object, which we have here and here, but you'll never see it as a doer. And there's a reason for that, which we'll cover later on. Here, if you want to say those two went, we add only an alif for both, whether it be female or male. So we say the and it's ba, the ba. This is alif. This alif is actually representing the huma. So we say this alif is a damir muttasil that is referring to the dual third person, whether it be male or female. Actually, this is incorrect. It should say the masculine is correct, but the feminine actually is not an alif. It should actually be saying ta. So you can write that in your notes. This is actually ta alif. So this is not dhahaba. It is dhahaba. It is dhahabata. Dhahabata. That's what this dual is. So that's incorrect. I made a correction here. So just change the alif to a ta. That is the pronoun. That is a damir muttasil attached to the dhahaba, referring to a feminine dual third person, while this is referring to a masculine dual third person. If you want to say hum, you add a waw at the end of the verb, so you say dhahabu. So this waw is indicating it. And then hunna, I just add a noon with a fatha, so you say dhahabna. So this noon is the damir muttasil referring to the doer of the verb. Okay, so that is for a verb where the damir muttasil is acting like a doer. That's what these look like. Now we have, a verb, but the damir muttasil is acting like the object, right? And this is not ya, it should be a ni. This should be a ni. Not ya, so ni. So let's look at some examples. I want to say, I use the verb daraba. Daraba means to hit, and usually you need a verb that has the capability of giving an action to someone else. So you can say like, I hit someone, I bought the fruits, right? I sang the song, so on and so forth. But some verbs don't have the capability of giving an object, such as I ran. You can't say I ran the store. You can say I ran the store, sorry. You would say like I ran to the store. That doesn't have the capability of taking an object. So in certain cases, objects can be given by certain verbs in certain situations. So that's why I'm using daraba. Daraba means to hit. So if I want to say darabani, so here what we're saying is that the ni is a damir muttasil, but it's acting like the object. So this is a very big difference. Here I said dhahabtu, and so when an ana looks like a tu and is connected to a verb, that means it's acting like the doer. But for example, if it's a ni and it's connected to a verb, then it's acting like the object. So this means he hit me. But if, for example, I'll just write up here, if I said darabtu, so then what does this mean? This means I hit, because this tu is representing a doer form. Okay? So this means he hit me, but this means I hit. They both, tu and ni, both refer to ana, but one refers to ana as a doer and the other one refers to ana as an object. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We have darabana. So the na is referring to he hit us. Then you have darabaka. He hit you, masculine. And then we have ضربك. He hit you, feminine. And then ضربكما. He hit you too, masculine. And the ضربكما. He hit you too, feminine. And as you can tell, you can't tell the difference between a masculine and feminine. And then we have ضربكم. ضربكم. He hit you all. You all. Kum. It is acting like the object. These are all acting like the object. Then we have ضربكن. He hit you all, feminine. Then we have ضربه. Now we jump to the third person. This means he hit him. The who referring to the object of being hit. So he hit him. Then we have ضربها. Notice ha can be written in two different ways, this way or this way, like a V. Both are permissible, but this means he hit her. ضربهما. He hit you two men. Or sorry, he hit those two men. And this is ضربهما. Again, he hit those two females. You can't tell the difference between these two as well. So you can interpret it one way or the other. ضربهم. This means he hit them. And ضربهن, which means he hit those girls, which is referring to this hunna here. So these are all just horizontal, same meaning, but one is doer and one is going to be the object. So that's the biggest difference we're trying to understand. And then we have, okay, muttasil, but for isms, well, if it's muttasil that's connected to an ism, it's simply going to be your mudaf ilayh, right? It's as simple as that. Back-to-back isms. So the golden rule is, the rule of thumb is that when you have a mudaf ilayh, when you have a pronoun muttasil attached to an ism, and it's the second part, mudaf ilayh. So let's think of like bait. We'll do bait now. So I say bait, because bait is an ism, means house. So I say bayti. So this ya is the muttasil, right? I don't know what's happening. Okay. This ya is the muttasil, meaning my house. So how to say our house? Baytuna. How to say your house for your masculine? Baytuka. And for feminine, baytuki. And for dual, baytukuma. And the same thing for feminine, because you can't tell the difference. Baytukuma. So these both mean your two houses, whether it be male or female, you can't tell the difference. Here we have Baytukum, your house, you all. And then here we have Baytukunna. And they want to say his house, so you say Baytuhu. And her house, Baytuha. And then the two houses, their two houses, Baytuhuma. Oops. Baytuhuma. بيتهما, the same thing again, بيتهما, and then their house, بيتهم, and then their house but feminine, go back on that, that's not what I wanted, بيتهن, so their house, feminine. So this is referring to مضاف إليه when it is attached to an ism. Now, the biggest thing I want to mention is that, remember, if you go back to this, that these isms, they never change vowels. Never change vowels. Never, 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 never. Except for one case, which we'll cover right now, but never change vowels otherwise. Why is that important? Because, for example, if we had changed this ka to the say of jar to ki, you've changed it from a masculine to feminine, and we don't want that. So you don't change it. Now what happens? Sometimes they say, well, you can actually change the ha, the hu, to he. So they say, what if the word was faqri instead of faqru? So you have faqruhu here. They say faqri, and you have the ha afterwards. They say if there is a kasra before the ha, we automatically change it to he, not because we changed the vowel grammatically, but for pronunciation purposes. Because it's easier to say faqrihi than faqrihu. So for that reason, there's this one exception to this rule. So don't get thrown off if you see he or a who. The good thing is because there's no other he. You can't get it mixed up with another word. So this is why they say it's fine to do as such. But otherwise, we follow this rule, which means the damirs never change vowels. Never, 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 never. Okay? And if you want to just review quickly again, we just say that there are two sections, munfasila, meaning that they are detached, and muttasila, meaning they are attached, and then the different situations. So we have our default, meaning if it starts a sentence, that's for munfasila, it's pretty simple. Then you have muttasila, these two are for verbs, and the last column is for an ism. This first column here is for doer. If the verb that's if the pronoun that's attached to a verb looks like one of these things, then it is a doer. Otherwise, it is an object. And the last one, it is an ism. It is only attached to an ism, and in that case, it acts like a mudaf ilayh. Okay, so that's the lesson for today. Make sure to write the notes down, and I'll see you next time. Bye.